Use of office by the managing director of the company.
We call it structural violence that the managing director.
We're live at the KIA as the board is accused of shelving damning investigative committee report against Mr. Yao Kwakwa of the Health, Transport, Information and Gender Ministers designate over claims they withheld information on the Frontier Healthcare Service contract.
Who have been less than candid and who have not been forthright.
We'll hear from the Deputy Majority Leader as government engages private sector to procure up to 5 million more vaccines towards its 20 million inoculations this year.
We have a platform which is also assuring the country some number of doses of vaccines.
WHO pre-qualification department is in communication with the producers of these two vaccines, looking at their data.
And in business, World Bank set to advance $100 million to Ghana for better service,
as it promises equal attention for all sports and disciplines.
And much later, some tourism industry insiders the hub of film production in West Africa.
If we have a studio that can make sure to produce movies, tourism will not go.
I have all the reactions from some industry players to Mr. Awal's proposal. Meanwhile, he says he will engage
to top step more people with expertise, with skills, and with competence, and then money.
11997. You're watching via Facebook. You can leave your comments there as well. Union of the Public Services Workers Union, PSWU of the TUC, has announced the withdrawal of its services starting tomorrow, Friday, 26 March 2020. Committee constituted by the then Aviation Minister to look into allegations of mismanagement and abuse. Developing story. But there was an earlier statement that was issued by the union, which you have a copy of. What exactly are the details, Kweku?
Joka International Airport, as from 6 o'clock hours Friday morning to 26th February, an investigative committee comprising the Ministry of Aviation, the board, senior management, and the Public Services Workers Union, which tunes of the company around is the removal of the managing director. The affected services shall include 1. Screening sewage treatment, and finally, the public announcement and flight display. So they are communicating this to the public. The reason they were calling on the president to remove him from office. The board took up the matter and constituted a board to investigate. It has been ready for over a month ago, but because of some damning revelations in it, the board is shelving it.
You've been interacting with the leadership of the union. You've just returned from the Kotoka International Airport. We'll get them on the phone shortly.
The workers are in support of this move by leaders of the union, trying to call on government to take some steps to remove Mr. Yao Kwakwa, or a committee has made against the managing director of the company. And so they say that they continue and they expect the board to do something. For instance, they've been accusing the board of the managing director. So he's trying to run down the company so that he can make the case for
members of the board, because most of these allegations are directed at them.
Right. So whilst I was at the airport, I tried my best.
Get Mr. Yao Kwakwa there on the phone for some reactions. But let's speak to Abi. Issued that statement communicating the withdrawal of their services to members of the Ghana services that you're hoping to withdraw starting tomorrow. But I'm interested in the allegations that you make against the
twofold. If you follow this story since the beginning of this year, the managing director, a lot of issues have happened at this airport, and your good selves have covered those stories very well. They were no longer interested in this privatization business. But I can tell you, the managing director has never backed down at a meeting that he is still interested in the privatization thing. And we have always been saying that he has deliberately been trying to. A lot of contracts have been given out to private charges that the service providers were charging the company have been padded. It does not make sense to anybody that you up. Why
and this particular contract
we expect that the figures would rather come down. Yes,
Mr. Isaac. So which particular
what we are talking about now? This contract with additions. Now, the proposal, the contract service providers brought $65 annually. By the time the contract is signed, change of almost $400,000. This does not add up to anybody. I can give you several of this. Let me take care of our X-ray equipment. The The proposal brought $1,000.
Okay, so these remain allegations that we cannot independently currently. But Mr. Bamba, an investigative committee was put together by the Aviation Ministry. Having the findings of that committee, how so?
If they are not serving it, we expect that at least investigation. Why are they not ready to give us copy? After several attempts, why are they not ready to give PSWU a copy after a month?
But if you haven't seen the report, how then do you conclude that the findings are damning against
our members were represented in the committee, so we have an idea how the committee went.
And what
they could not be disputed.
And I'm sure that the committee
we have information that most of the allegations we leveled against him were found to be true. Now, if it is not true, we are challenging
board to make these findings, public. How then do you want passengers to be penalized for your own?
But you want to save the company.
But if you are withdrawing your services, tomorrow, how are you saving your company?
We are protecting the company because the way that is happening is it is temporary. It is better than what we have been going through the past 2 years. Under the watch.
But we're told that the number of CEOs in the first term were, asked, they haven't been renewed. Or
much as I know he's in office, that is how we are looking at it. Until he leaves the office, he's in office.
Services.
In fact, what we put out there is just the first phase. When this first phase ran, 24 hours, we don't see any action.
Louis Sakabamba, we're grateful for your time. That's the divisional chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Limited's divisional union of the public. That there was a committee that was put in place by the then Aviation Ministry. But the findings of that committee is, as I speak, my producers are still making frantic efforts to reach Mr. Yakwakwa to no avail. As and when we get other issues, you can send us a message. It's via WhatsApp 055-11-11-997. This is Newsnight. A threat by the NDC minority that they will block the approval of health, transport, information and gender ministers designate over airport. Is charging a fee of $150 for non-ECOWAS travelers to the country. And this, though connected to the subject, could not provide satisfactory answers to the committee when asked about the deal. There's more put together in this report.
To the availability of an effective system for COVID-19 testing. Following this, Frontier Healthcare Services Limited expressed its readiness to provide such service to the public, whilst indicating its equipment that had been tested by the Food and Drugs Authority. 3 ministerial nominees who had so far appeared before the appointment committee airport at a fee of $150 per head. The health minister that were involved in the award of the said contract and therefore could not give further details about the deal.
By registration, July 2020, a few weeks to the reopening of the airport, and it had no medical laboratory experience.
On her part, referred the committee to the Minister of Finance, who has oversight responsibility of Public Procurement Authority.
The most appropriate person will be the Minister for Transport, under who the Minister for Aviation has supplied all the details on that matter.
So, to be fair, I saw the transport minister and he appeared before the committee and he also gave some details which the committee was not, savory and is unhappy. Government officials with oversight responsibilities looked on for that to happen.
Lack of responsibility and an outright disregard for our laws and utter disrespect that when the House resumes, we will move a motion for a full-scale bipartisan parliamentary inquiry, and their only interest is profiteering. Utter disregard for our laws, breaching the health institutions and fund standard issues. Now we do not even know if that the ongoing vetting has only confirmed our suspicions that this is a very stinking arrangement and utter disregard for our laws.
So, Honorable, as representatives of the people, are you saying...
As you do know, the Minister Designate for Transport, call it wishy-washy because it appears largely to be focused on Frontiers Healthcare Services Limited.
The Health Minister, the information when you put this matter before them, now you have an opportunity to approve of their vote for the approval
most definitely, this will play a direct responsibility for health, responsibilities. So you can be rest assured that these are matters that are candid and who have not been forthright and who let in, if you like, utter disrespect.
For a probe into the matter, but going by the threat of the NDC, if carried through, it could have some serious impact on the fate of the nominees, the Appointments Committee. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight, sir. So you've heard the North Tongue MP, a member of the Appointments document, and that they will not approve the nominations of some ministers that he's mentioned, including the gender information, amongst others, saying that.
Well, good evening to your listeners, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this program. His first allegation on the House floor, prior to the vetting, in a statement, was to the effect that Frontier Healthcare, that is not registered in Ghana, has been awarded a contract. So now he has shifted from that position. That is the first point. Second, it is not expected sector agencies would have to know, or that point must be made. Therefore, his contention that Ms. Oponkroma claiming not to know anything about Attorney General, that he tried to draw him in and all that. So let's go straight to the point. They contended that we had the health transport minister designate appearing before us. When he did, his submission was to the effect that, yes, Ghana Airport Company Limited. Therefore, it is right for the Minister of Health designate. They doubted him. Now it is clear that the contract is between Airport Company Limited and the service provider. He wrote to PPA. The minister tendered that evidence as well, because he received that and indicated that per the terms of the engagement, it didn't fall under any of the provisions that will require their procedures in arriving at a decision regarding the nature of the services they want to, the company wants to render. The contract and gave copy to us. So to me, if a member of parliament of engaging in a public discourse, it is not acceptable.
Well, but you are a vice chairperson of the committee with a public issue, and then subsequently the document that was provided to the committee, satisfactory, you say?
Emefa, we made available the contract because that comes under his sector. In any event, Ghana Airport Company Limited has its board, has its head of legal. Referrals are not made to that, so let not rather mislead the public. I chaired Ghana Water Company. Contract between Ghana Water Company and Service Ghana Water, with the greatest respect, the learned Attorney General cannot answer to it.
Okay, but I don't know.
Wait a moment, please. You want me to explain? The contract went through the approved due process. Head of entity is the managing director. When board approves of the confines of the law to be followed, in fact, it doesn't even go to the minister. However, I must say that when it is in the policy to demand for information, I am saying that in the case of honorable argument, it was not Ghana Health Services that entered into a contract. Neither was it the Minister of Health. So he never misled the public. He was right in saying so.
That point we were referred to for him to give us those documentations and to settle the matter.
He has made available?
Exactly, and you say that
shy away from it.
And you say, and you're supposed to interrogate.
Why we are
for
supposed
instance,
to have engagement, Emefa, the last time we had an interview, it wasn't a good one. It is. We always have a good interview. I am supposed to explain matters. I'm saying that the contract that was expected was due process. Evidence showed that there was due process. 3, issue of whether or not even advancing the engagement. Ghana Airport Company wrote to FDA to do due diligence on the equipment properly certified. I must admit that on the aspect of HIFRA, you know that we enacted a law, healthcare providers as well.
We're told they only have a provisional.
with respect to that regularization, therefore he, upon his advice, same was regularized. So 5 authorization recently. Bear in mind that we were talking about COVID, a situation that our borders were closed. At a particular point in time, that we needed to open our airspace. That particular an issue was subsequently to the contrary. That look, rather they did the right thing, they wrote.
Okay.
The records are there.
Okay, I'm sure
Whether
that at
there
this
was
time,
a contrast, all of these things, the public must be satisfied that indeed due process was followed. 2, the managing director is a Ghanaian.
Okay.
The witness to the contract is a Ghanaian. The management of the company are all Ghanaian.
Okay, so I'm
finally,
so I'm
saying, quote me.
Okay.
I have seen. What I have seen is what I'm, the managing director is not a Ghanaian. I have seen the contract. Is there. I've seen the witness. I've seen the management structure.
Are you able?
Private entity.
Okay.
Come on, Emefa.
I was only asking. I was only asking.
Sometimes people who throw out some of these things, when they are caught or when they get exposed, you must also hear that the company is not registered in Ghana. What have you asked about that?
King. But finally, briefly, actually, because we don't have too much time, I'm sure you're used to the long hours of talking.
That is, the statement you're making. That's how I construe that to me.
Okay, nice interaction tonight, so that
you didn't start it well.
Okay, I apologize. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Colleague Okujeto Ablakwa wants to state the predetermined position of call the dog a bad name just for the purpose of hanging it. We've had you don't expect 100% per somebody's subject find fault on some nominees. If that is that political, so I think that as we are doing this thing, he should allow all of us to go through the process rather than throwing some of these things. So if he throws it out there that his side, I find it a bit, for straight government business.
We'll leave it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Afenyomaki. I mean, the majority leader. They're reacting to comments made earlier by Mr. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa in that interview with my...
So we missed Emefa, even though we've been talking behind the scenes.
Of course.
Officially, we don't come on. Let's to Ghana for purchases of additional COVID-19 vaccines to help are expected to go up again. That is coming from the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers and, of course, Allianz Insurance.
I graduated with first-class honors in agriculture. People seeing my fresh cassava page on Facebook and Instagram. Reach humble todays to amazing tomorrows on Ghana's #1 network.
Cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Click or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated, and Lionsgate and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call Seriously. We are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofoline, and in Takrady. Apex Health.
You welcome $1 to help Ghana finance the purchases of additional COVID-19 vaccines. Now, this President David Malpass disclosed this via his social media platform in Washington, D.C. and financial assistance to Ghana when it comes to its immunization program to fight the pandemic. The bank is also working with some key partners, including UNICEF and the WTO interest. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers is forecasting further hikes in per litre. Now, this is based on some development on the global market.
We seem not to have much of a choice at this point. You cannot continue to ask Ghanaians to pay for stabilization and recovery levy at a time when world market prices are clearly hitting the roofs and prices are simply threatening to go up. So we insist that the stabilization and recovery levy should be looked at again. We say this on the back of the fact that LPG prices are also hitting the roofs, and as soon as next week, LPG could also go up, though some fuel companies or oil marketing companies have already started increasing their pump prices, and we believe that if nothing is done to avert these increases, as early as tomorrow, a lot of the oil marketing companies will be forced to go up, whilst the LPG marketing companies also wait to increase their prices somewhere Monday. We seem not to have much.
And that is Dan Kanamwa. He's the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. So you have to brace yourself for some hikes for coming in from tomorrow, even next. This giant MTN says it has started implementing the significant market interconnect calls on the networks. We have details in the following business.
7 directives following the declaration of MTN as a significant market player. It disclosed that it has started to apply a 30% asymmetrical interconnect rate for 2 years. It should mean that the telecoms giant is going to reduce the cost of interconnect charges by some 30%. MTN in the financial statement noted that ongoing engagement with the regulator with respect to other directives has been put on hold because of the December elections. It is therefore hoping that it may resume discussions with the government and the regulator when a new minister is appointed for the sector. Based on MTN's comment in the financial statement, it is still not clear how this will affect the business going forward. The telecoms giant last year explained that implementing this program will also go a long way to affect its profits. With expected shocks of the pandemic, it may be bad for the mobile operator in the coming months. The NCA last year classified MTN as a significant market player, following the significant growth in its market share for more than 50%. On localizing the MTN business, the telecoms operator noted that it is fully committed to the process. It has come very far with its implementation, adding the group has come very far in selling down further its interest in MTN Ghana. This will ensure that the local investor will have about 25% share in the business. On the business outlook, MTN admitted that it is still expecting the pandemic to impact its financials and operation costs even for 2021, despite posting about 2 billion cedis in profit after tax for last year.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, lawyer and business strategist David Ofosudote is making a strong case for Ghana, likely to face in the coming months due to the expected negative impact of COVID-19 on the country.
Debt restructuring, we've not talked about that, but probably it may happen. I mean, the Paris Club is already gearing up for debt restructuring. China is playing with the Paris Club, to the best of my knowledge, which makes things very difficult for most African countries. And there's another factor you need to look at.
David Ofosudote is a lawyer and a business strategist. And that's all for Business on... I told you one of those people where you drive to the service station and ask that, fill me tank, mommy. You know, you don't even...
When you get 50 cedis, your tank is full. It's not like yours.
Okay.
Thank you. Say that minority group are working in the interest of Ghana by scrutinizing each nominee's capacity. He says everybody who lies under oath has questionable character must be rejected. Nana, spin text. I don't get Mr. Fenyo. He says some more of your messages. Let me go through them. Okay, it looks like at this point, Hans, your sector minister was at the appointments.
But it's refreshing to hear him talk about giving, equal attention to all the various ports and sprints and also Kenya do in the long distance.
We will give equitable attention, discipline in the country, and we promote and ensure that their welfare, their facilities, how they are training, we will ensure that is done. But we also have to understand the strength of our country. Look at a country like Jamaica. Worldwide, globally, everybody knows that Jamaica is a sports nation, is an athletic nation. But Jamaica don't win medals on long distance. They focus on where they have their strength, the short distance, and they are winning globally. And you look at our sister country, Kenya. Kenya is focusing on long distance and they don't win short distance. Even in Ghana, look, we have to look at our geographical locations. Because if you take, for instance, the Upper East, they are known to be boxers.
That is the Sports Minister designate Mustafa Yusuf earlier at the Appointments Committee of Parliament for his vetting. And Emefa, the black satellites have been in action. The good news, so Cameroon missing.
Always has to be penalties, eh?
Well, we're not doing too well in recent years in respect of solving that technical problem in respect of penalties. So 4-3, Ghana progress to the semi-final of the Under-20 AFCON.
Sorry, since we're talking about vetting, maybe we'll stay a while longer there because some tourism industry insiders have questioned that Ghana, the hub of film production in West Africa. The Ghana film industry has now, Mr. Awal insisted his focus is to make Ghana the hub of film production in
much offense to pay for stabilization, and we seem not to have.
I think a film and music studio is one element that can increase the tourism potential of this country. We don't have any studios would help in music and film production and make Ghana the hub of film production in West Africa. In Nigeria, the film industry 2 years ago generated $590 million and supported about $4 billion. Ghana can do it. If we have a studio that can make sure produce movies, tourism will not go.
Now, on the issue of the NPP's manifesto pledge to construct a theatre in every region.
Takoradi theatre, Cape Kofride theatre is being done in Takoradi once. But beyond all, Mr. Chairman,
as industry, should they expect you to pursue this pledge in regional capital? Is the new patriotic party, the Akufo-Addo administration, still committed to this pledge? It appears this theatre in every regional capital. Are you still committed to that pledge?
In addition to the studio, we need to have this theatre so that the movies.
So that's the Minister Designate for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture, also CEO of 3 Music, Mr. Sadiq. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight Sadiq's studio, amongst others that he plans to do for the sector. Your thoughts in particular on
him was not that good. In fact, I had actually been told some few industry provide an explanation that maybe he didn't want to say much or commit himself much, even though he made some commitment. But he didn't, so we can look into it. With regards to the studio, well, I mean, looks like I didn't need to make promises to that in that regard, unless, of course, it's going to be more the School of Performing Arts, so that it can be a point of, I mean, it's one is not so clear how and why they want to see the light of day, you know. And so everybody's a bit apprehensive, not that of somebody that really understood the space or got enough briefing, enough to want to.
Film studio. Is it that this is not what the sector needs at this point, or what exactly is it?
But most importantly, it's not. We are not so clear if the state per se has to do this. We are still saddled with the lack of speaking about these much needed laws that will make the investments, such investments that will come in, tensions of some of these things from happening. But the tax rebates or the laws that would ensure that investments will get, a lot of these things didn't get any mention at all in this. But I don't know if it was also because questions in that regard were ensure that private people does continue to do some of these investments that will enable the space. But that said, deliver on similar promises they made within the last 4 years. Everybody's really, really apprehensive. How
they on show visit to Z. Thank you so much for your time. That's Sadiq Abdullah, the CEO of 3 Music, and then also wow. But just before we go, Ghana took delivery of 600,000 AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines yesterday, in what many of the AstraZeneca vaccines significantly small compared with the country's 20 million doses target. For Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwin, who joined the WHO Africa Region News Conference today, has been given details of how more doses.
We are looking at bilateral, multilateral sources of the vaccines. Pfizer, whether it's Moderna, whether it's Johnson & Johnson, whether it's AstraZeneca. Though our top priority have actually registered the Sputnik vaccine, we are also
but concerns are emerging about one of the vaccines government is procuring. That's the Russian-made Sputnik 5 vaccine. Now, and Chinese vaccines during the news conference after Dr. Bekwin indicated the government was going for one of them.
In our headquarters is actually in communication with the producers of these two vaccines, looking at their data use listing for both of these vaccines. So that is currently ongoing.
And that's the WHO Director for Africa region, Dr. Matthew Didiso. And thank you for listening. Remember to brush your teeth with Pepsodent. Because with Pepsodent, Mr. Collins Adumako Mensah, MP for Efija Kwabre North, NPP, you would want